Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34 back with another top 10 video. This is going to be 1980 Topps football. And like usual, I'm going to start off with a few honorable mentions. You see some of them right here. Now the Ricky Bell autograph that I showed on the last one, because one of my favorite cards from 79 was his rookie card. Big fan of his just from NFL films. Never saw him play. That was before my time. But I became a big fan of his. And the reason I started this set, if this is the first of the top 10 you've watched, was I started collecting around 1986-87. However, my local card shop had packs going all the way back to 1978, so I really have a nostalgic feel going back that far. And so I'm started with 1978, and I'm working my way up. I collected pretty frequently, very frequently actually, until about 1994. A little bit in 95, and then kind of fell off until about 2013-ish. But so this is the start of it. I'm including the Ricky Bell card as an honorable mention, even though I love this card, only because it's not part of the main set. It's an autograph, so I'm taking that out of the top 10 list. Otherwise, it would definitely be in there. But really happy to have his auto. And then on the left there, you've got Dan Fouts. In the middle, John Stallworth. John Stallworth and Dan Fouts, two Hall of Fame players. And just like with the 79 set, I always really love the All-Pro designation. I think it adds a little bit to the card. And with these designs, it's pretty cool. You know, you got kind of like a football in the background and then the name in the middle there. And those are two players that were great, that I was always happy to have those cards. And like the images on those as well. Now, one thing from this set, and this is true of the other two I highlighted as well, there are not a lot of action shots. And so I really love cards where they're in action. And so a few of my honorable mentions, I just thought they were good photographs. So we've got Chester Markle, kicker for the Packers. I think that's a nice looking image, good photography. And then Pat Hayden, I think that's a nice looking card. You've got the scoreboard in the background with the fans kind of blurred out, and then him looking downfield. And I really like the 79 AFC Championship card with Rocky Bleier there. Steelers won 27-13, but I think that's, again, a really nice action shot. And then I have a few honorable mentions as well that I'll throw in. Charlie Joyner. I wanted to put this one in here because when I started collecting cards, my brother opened a pack of cards in 87, and one of the cards in there was a Charlie Joyner record breaker card. So that's how I knew that Charlie Joyner was a really great player. And so when I opened a pack of cards and I pulled that, my original copy of that, I was very excited to be able to have that. And I've always loved this image of Gene Upshaw. You know, he's got that big old neck guard there, and just his arms are completely wrapped up. But again, that's just a nice looking card. I will throw this one on here while I've got the Ricky Bell auto up there. This is Ricky Bell's second year card, and it's an honorable mention as well. I always, again, love those shots of, those players that I have a sentimental attachment to, including Gary Fensick. Big fan of Steve DeBerg. You know, he was having cards made when I was collecting during the late 80s, early 90s, and so getting his older cards was always fun. Don't love the airbrushing. Nothing we can really do about that, right? Terry Bradshaw, another one of my favorites. Ken Anderson, who I'd love to see get into the Hall of Fame. And I love this one. This one almost made my top 10. I think that's an awesome image there of Jack Lambert. Just looks mean, ready to kill somebody. And he's got the All-Pro. And then the Steve Largent here as well. And then this one, I really love this record breaker right here. Most interceptions in a lifetime, Paul Krause, which is still unbroken. And so just the history of that, I really like that card as well. And then the last of my honorable mentions, I love this card. Mean Joe Green has a lot of great cards. But I just love the big old shoulder pads with his jersey number and the profile picture there. That's just a great shot. Really good card there. And one of the great players of all time. Okay, so those are my honorable mentions. All right, here's my number 10. Now, Mike Phipps, very average quarterback. Some might even argue below average quarterback. But I love this image. This is why this made the top 10. And also, he's a Chicago Bear, right? So even back in the 80s, if I got Chicago Bears cards, I was extra happy about that. But I really love that image. You see him kind of looking over to the side there, checking out the defense, maybe taking a quick look at the receivers. And then you've got the offensive and defensive linemen getting ready for that play. You've got the blurred image of the fans in the background. I just think that's a really great shot. So that is my number 10. My number 9 is this Franco Harris. I think the All-Pro designation at the top with him just smiling. He's got kind of a jacket over him to keep warm. Just really, really enjoy that card. I think that's a great image of Franco there, Hall of Famer. And then my number 8, Clay Matthews rookie card. And, some of you may know Clay Matthews Jr., who had a really good career as well. Clay Matthews Sr., he played forever. He was around for a really long time. This is his rookie card. I think it's his second year. Yeah, so he started in 1978, first-round draft pick out of USC. And, again, he's a guy who, when Pro Set and Score kind of spiked, he was around for that as well. And so I always liked when players who were currently playing in the new products also had cards that were going back this far. And then next up for me, number 7, is Alan Page. Same reason he was in my top 10 of the year prior. I just love having him in a Bears uniform. He is a legend, and he is most remembered for his years with the Minnesota Vikings. But he also had some really good years with the Chicago Bears. Really impressive guy on and off the field. And so I'd love that card, and just him kind of sitting there on the sideline next to his teammates. Love that card. All right, next up, number 6 is William Andrews. This is his rookie card. I was a big fan of his career. He was well on 1,000 yards as a rookie right there. He was well on his way potentially to a Hall of Fame career before he had a horrible injury and never really came back from that. He really lost his speed and just didn't have the same career. But for those first few years, he was fantastic. And so really happy to have that card. I really enjoy rookie cards, right? And running backs especially. That's my all-time favorite position to watch. Next up, we have Ozzie Newsome. Hall of Famer, great player. Another guy who was around for the beginning of those Pro Set and Score cards. And just love that image. I think it's a great card. And he had a great Hall of Fame career. So that one I wanted to include as well. All right, next up, we've got the final 4. So here is number 4. This is James Lofton. This is a second-year card. Big fan of his as well. Great career, Green Bay Packers, Raiders for a brief time, and then the Buffalo Bills. And I was a huge fan of his on the Bills and those Super Bowl teams that he was a part of. However, I also really liked him even with Green Bay. I've just always been a fan of his and love that card. Nice nice image of him right there up close. And then my number 3 card, kind of the biggest rookie I would say from that set, is Phil Simms, Super Bowl winning quarterback, had a very, very good career, really solid, and so that's a really one of the top, if not the top, rookie card out of that set. Not a Hall of Famer, but definitely close, right? I mean, just with the success that he had. And, a lot of us have probably seen him on TV as an NFL analyst for a really long time. His son Chris played in the NFL, including with the Bears briefly. And he's on TV as well. So Phil Simms at number 3. And now for my top 2, and it's kind of a theme from the year before. A great rookie running back gets my number 2 overall. And if you follow my channel, you know some of my all-time favorite running backs. So this won't be a surprise. This is my big rookie card of the set. That's Otis O.J. Anderson. Great player. In fact, during that season, and I'm going to say that's 2A and then this is 2B, or maybe I'd switch it because I always like when they're able to actually put on an action shot, right? And so this is OJ running the ball during that year, and you'll see with this record breaker card, most yardage rushing by a rookie in the season. And that's a very impressive record, right? 1,605 yards. And he just really surpassed the year before Earl Campbell, who had a great season at 1,450. So Earl's record only stood for 1 year before Otis broke that one. And just a great season. I'm not sure what was his average carries. 4.8 yards per carry that year with 8 touchdowns as well. So Love that card. Love both of those cards. He went on to become like the NFL Comeback Player of the Year with the Giants, Super Bowl MVP with the Giants. Really had a second life there. And I would love to see him get into the Hall of Fame. He had a great career, though, with the Cardinals before that. It kind of faded away. I know Stump Mitchell got some playing time, and Otis's numbers dropped for a couple years. Then he went to the Giants and was basically, second string, third string running back, including in the Super Bowl they won in, January of '87. He wasn't really a huge part of the team, but then he became the primary running back and had a 1,000-yard season with the Giants and went on with that Super Bowl a year after that. Okay, so my number one card, and again, these are my favorite cards, right? Not necessarily the most valuable, although this one is one of the most valuable in the set. But my favorite card, heavily biased, would be Walter Payton right there. Love Walter Payton, and the 1978 and the 1980 Topps are my two favorite. I go back and forth as to which one I like better, but I think that's an awesome image. I love how he's got the finger tape, the bandage on his arm. It looks like he's about getting ready to catch a pass, and he's got the All-Pro designation. And I also have these in the PSA slabs, the complete Walter player run. Although I'm thinking about getting the 1988 Record Breaker card. He had technically retired by then, but I'm considering getting that one as well. But that is my favorite card. If we take a look at the back, there we go. He had 1,610 yards that season and 14 touchdowns. And, this is still right before, a couple of years before the Bears really started to become a force in the NFL and went on to have that great team that won the Super Bowl after the '85 season. But he was always just a great player for the Bears. Fan favorite, not just with the Bears. I've noticed a lot of fans from other teams really, really like Walter Payton as well. I think he's kind of like Barry Sanders that way, where sometimes you just really gravitate towards a player, either their personality, their play on the field, all of that. So I know he's one of the more popular and beloved figures in the NFL. And my number one card right there, Walter Payton. All right, so that'll do it for today. I'll be back with more videos in the near future. I should be having a boombox arrive sometime later in this upcoming week, and I'll be back with the 1981 Top 10 in the near future as well. Anyway, that'll do it for today. I appreciate you guys all for taking the time to watch. I know there's a lot of content out there, and there's a lot of life to live and other things going on, so taking time to watch these and kind of enjoy the cards and celebrate the cards and the hobby with me is something I always appreciate. Thank you all for the great comments. I love hearing who your favorite cards and favorite players were. And I'll be honest, some of the comments have made me rethink, like the Joe Green from a couple videos ago that I included as an honorable mention. Once I kind of looked at it again and heard people talk about how great that card was, I'd probably bump that into my top 10 as well. And a couple other cards that I just hadn't really thought of that I appreciate more just from people mentioning how much they like those cards. So anyway, I appreciate that. Go ahead and let me know if you had a favorite or if top 5, top 10, top whatever cards from that set as well. And I'd love to hear from you. All right, that'll do it for today. And as always, go Bears.